this review of the 2019 Astro A50 Gen 4s, I'm going to cover the technical details, the design, the performance, and how they compare to my old Gen 2s. Now I'm going to try and be as objective as possible because what I think they look and sound like is kind of irrelevant when it comes to deciding if they're the right headset for your needs. That being said, I think they're freaking awesome, but I'll try and keep to the facts as much as possible. So I recently upgraded to the new Astro A50 4th generation headset, and I've been using them pretty solidly over the past couple of weeks. Previously I was using the Gen 2s, which I got back in 2015, and they've seen a lot of use, a lot of use. I'd say they've done well over 1,000 hours at this point, and I've been very happy with how they've performed during that time. On top of the excellent sound they produce, the reliability has been outstanding, so upgrading to another pair of Astros was an easy decision. I still had a few questions though, such as how big of an upgrade are they compared to the previous iterations? Are they still worth $500? Yes, that is how much they cost in Australia. And why are there so many terrible video reviews of the A50s? Seriously, out of the 10 or so that I've watched, only about 2 were helpful. The first thing that I want to talk about is how they sound. I know, this is pretty hard to talk about objectively, but bear with me. Something I try and stress as much as possible to anyone who enjoys playing video games is that sound is every bit as important as the visuals. Regardless of the types of games you play, quality audio is essential for getting the most out of your favorite game. Whether it's being transported to another world or gaining an edge on the competition, you can't ignore how important good sound is. In a perfect world, we'd all be gaming with professionally tuned 7.2 home theater systems, or that epic speaker from Back to the Future. But the reality is that for many of us, these systems are either too expensive or simply not practical. That's why a good headset makes a lot of sense, because even the top of the range equipment is generally pretty affordable. The Astro A50s provide a simulated 7.1 surround sound that has been specifically designed with gaming in mind. Astro describes them as being designed and professionally tuned to deliver audiophile grade performance. And while you can buy headphones that deliver superior sound, as far as dedicated gaming headsets go, these are considered to be top shelf. Now if you compare the technical specs to the previous Gen 3 model on the Astro website, they appear to be very similar, but there's actually quite a lot that's new with the Gen 4s. The drivers are new, the wireless technology is new, and if you get the Xbox version, it supports Dolby Atmos. The sound quality is excellent, and regardless of the EQ setting you use, there's a clear separation of the lows, mids, and highs. I've never heard any distortion or clipping either, and although some people might find the low end a bit lacking compared to other headsets, it's hard to argue that the mix isn't well balanced and clean. Out of the box, there's 3 audio presets to choose from. The Astro setting is kind of an all-purpose gaming mode, with a focus on deep bass and crispy high-end. Pro is more suited to competitive games like Call of Duty, where being able to hear other players is important. And Studio is the best setting for music and film as it has a warmer sound. I also found Studio to be a good option for cinematic games like God of War and The Last of Us. Overall, the sound quality probably leans a bit more towards the clinical side, which makes them less suited for music. But as a gaming headset, there isn't anything I've thrown at them that didn't sound great. Now you can just use these straight out of the box and they sound fine, but I'd recommend having a look at the Command Center software first. It's a free download for both PC and Mac, and it allows you to customize both the sound of the headset as well as the performance of the microphone. There's a bunch of different options in the software to experiment with. You can select from different presets to load into the headset, or you can create your own if you know what all these sliders do. The options for the microphone are nice too. You've got control over the noise gate, which is what helps cut out the background noise, and you can modify the side tone. Side tone adjusts the volume of your voice being fed back into the headset. This was something that annoyed me about the Gen 2s because I found it really hard to hear myself, so being able to monitor the sound of my voice means that I don't need to talk as loudly as I used to. In addition to the quality of the audio, there have been improvements made elsewhere too. Pairing, for example, has been simplified, so much so that I haven't needed to pair them once since I've had them. I wouldn't say that this was something I was doing all the time with my older A50s, but not having to do it at all is definitely a boon. A huge improvement over previous versions is the strength and range of the wireless signal. With my Gen 2s, I really had to have line of sight from the headset to the base station for them to work properly, which basically meant being in the same room. The Gen 4s now use the 2.4 GHz wireless frequency, and I'm not going to pretend I know why this is better than what the previous models used. All I know is that with these, I can be in my backyard and they still work perfectly. The range on these things is frankly ridiculous, but this probably isn't something that most people will take advantage of. If you live in an apartment building with a lot of wireless interference though, or you move around a lot such as when you're streaming, then the boosted performance is a marked improvement over the older models. Latency has also been reduced. I can't say that this was something I thought the old A50 struggled with, but that being said, I'm not going to argue with any improvements in this area. Easily the biggest complaint I have with my Gen 2s is the quality of the microphone. This was an issue that many people had raised with the older models, and thankfully it's been addressed with the Gen 4s. I've recorded my voice in this section using the microphone on the headset, and while it still doesn't rival a dedicated microphone like the one that I use for voiceovers, it's a colossal improvement over the Gen 2s. For reference, this is what the Gen 2 microphone sounds like. When the Gen 2s first launched, Astro were touting something called dual mic noise cancellation, and while it did a good job of cutting out background interference, the quality, as you can hear, is complete rubbish. The improved quality of the mic combined with being able to hear myself more clearly has meant that I've been able to communicate better with people online, while at the same time annoying my wife less with loud game banter. From an operational point of view, this is where the headset has seen the least amount of changes over the previous Gen 3 model. You have a master volume dial on the base of the headset, 2 buttons either side that let you mix the game and chat audio, a button to toggle the Dolby Surround, a power button, and a button to switch between the different presets. On the front of the base station, you have 4 lights that indicate how much charge the headset has. It has an icon to show if Dolby is enabled, an icon to indicate if it's in PS4 or PC mode, as well as a display for the active preset. I'm not a huge fan of the way that the presets are displayed because you have to remember what each number is, but seeing as you can customize them, I guess this solution makes sense. Some kind of display with a preset name would have been killer, although I'm guessing that would increase the already high price. Using them is incredibly straightforward. You simply plug them into your PS4, PC or Mac, make sure it's set to the right mode on the back and you're good to go. Along with the USB and optical in, you've also got an optical pass-through if you need to run the audio into something else, such as for recording purposes. You've got an auxiliary in if you want to run another source of audio into the headset, and there's also a USB charge port. This will actually charge the headset roughly twice as fast as the Cradle if you need some quick juice. One complaint I've heard a few times from other reviews is the amount of audio leakage from the headset. Now for those who don't know, this basically means how much people nearby can hear what you're listening to. The A50s are an open air or an open back design, which is what allows them to have such an impressive soundstage. This is a pretty common design with high-end headphones, and along with providing superior audio, the open air design also prevents your head from getting too hot as heat is able to dissipate more easily. Now you can buy gaming headsets with a closed back design like the inexpensive Sennheiser GSP 300s, but I think unless you really need to eliminate noise that might disrupt other people, the sound leakage from the A50s shouldn't be an issue. There is a mod kit you can buy which will give you different ear cushions that help isolate the noise. I haven't personally tried these, so I don't know how effective they are, but it's an option if you really want this headset and leakage is an issue. Something I think a lot of reviews have failed to mention is the quality of life improvements over the previous models. From how easily they charge to how plug and play they are, there's not much you need to fiddle with to get the most out of this headset. One of the more impressive conveniences it has over the competition is how it saves power. Most quality wireless headsets will automatically turn off after a short period of time when there isn't any audio playing through them. The A50s though use internal gyros that detect movement to determine if they're being used or not. This means they power down if they don't sense any movement. You can simply take them off and set them down to quickly save power, and they'll power back on when you pick them up again. I've never found the 15 hours of battery life to be insufficient, so I haven't made great use of this feature, but I can definitely see that long term this could come in handy when the battery life shortens. By the way, this is something that happens to all batteries, it's not a problem strictly limited to the A50s. My Gen 2s have dropped to about 4 or 5 hours of game time after 5 years of use, although when using the mic it drops to about 2. Whether you like the design or not, the A50's appearance is unmistakable as a gaming headset. It's big, it's chunky, and the microphone is anything but discreet. I actually think that the mostly black design is a bit more understated than the earlier models, but if you rock these outside then they'll probably draw a bit more attention than a conventional pair of headphones. I don't really think the design is a big deal with gaming headsets though, because let's be honest, it's not like you're going to be cruising around town with these on. It's pretty hard to find a fault with the 4th generation A50s. Yes, they're pricey, and it would have been nice if the ear cushions from the mod kit came in the box, but overall the sound quality is excellent. You have plenty of configuration options, making them suitable for a variety of different uses, and given that my old A50s are still going 5 years on, I'm confident I'll get my money's worth out of these. If you have any further questions about the headset, or there's something that I didn't cover in enough detail, just let me know and I'll try and help you out. Otherwise, thanks for watching.